I've never experienced anything like it. You're very, very compassionate, and it is a very, very good feeling to know that, I was completely safe with you, that you were not judging me. You weren't judging my lifestyle. You weren't judging who I was, how flaky I've been in the past, how procrastination has been what I've lived by. You didn't judge, and I trusted you, and I'm so glad I did. I'm so glad I did.
How did you find this different, Ali? Because I know that was one of your questions when you came to me, and I know that you'd done your homework and you'd stalked me out a little bit, and the work and the podcast and all of the resources. I said to you, it's different, and you're going to experience something very, very different that you've never, ever had within therapy, because nobody in the world works in the way that I do with my clients individually. How true would you say that is now?
Yeah, very true. I've never experienced anything like it. When you've had therapy a few times, you think it's going to be same old, you just need to learn to be mindful, and you need to learn to be compassionate to yourself. How the fuck can I be compassionate to myself? I hate myself. How can I even give myself even the slightest bit of comfort? Because I don't like myself at all. The difference here, Leanne, is you didn't let me fall. You supported me all the way through. You were consistent, that I should be consistent in the pattern corrections. They've saved my life, and I hated them. I fucking hated them. I'm going to be honest now. Sorry.
Yeah.
So all of you out there who are going, oh, what about the what ifs? I'm not a maybe person. Just do it, because it works. I did. I mean, it was so different to anything that I'd ever experienced, and also with you being in my ear every single day with feedback to my updates that I was doing, and being accountable for the first time. Because before I'd have therapy maybe every week or every 2 weeks, you'd go in and say what had pissed you off in that 2 weeks, and, how you could deal with those emotions, not really actually tackling the actual problem at the bottom of it, just dealing with day-to-day stuff. So being accountable was not something that I was used to in my personal life.
Yeah.
And I had to make a decision, Ali, either you're going to do this or you're not. So if you're going to do it, then do it. But I did find the whole voicemail so difficult to begin with, because you're being real. You're being real, and you're admitting that what you found difficult, what you've done wrong, how you've thought, the thought processes for the day, and how, they're not very helpful. And then to get to get your feedback, to point in directions, that I didn't think to go, or you're questioning me about, are you really sort of telling me the whole story there? Like you said, I've always been like running rings around therapists, and I don't even know why I did it. But oh my God, when you actually start really living by them, then things do shift, and all of a sudden you think half an hour without feeling that something terrible is going to happen, and I've done this and I've done this, and it was a way of actually seeing my progress as well. I've got this book here, this book, and it's all full of therapy notes, all of it. And this is something I've never done before. And I absolutely love it, because I can physically see the progression that I've made from this scared, really, really anxious woman that didn't believe that her life was worth anything, and honestly thought that probably I'd be better off dead, because I couldn't live with the anxiety anymore, that it was destroying my life. But just learning these pattern corrections and using them on a daily basis, and them talking about them and how you've implemented them, you know, the light bulbs start to go off after a while. And like, you're right, repetition, 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 repetition. You know, you can't learn something by just looking at it and going, oh yeah, okay, I understand that. I was at the bottom. I really was, as far as I was concerned. I could no longer, I didn't want to live. I didn't want to live the way I was feeling. And I took a leap of faith. And that leap of faith is going to pay me back for the rest of my life now. Because I have learned so much. So I'd say to any woman that's just sitting on the sideline and is suffering in any way with lack of self-worth, with anxiety, with never being enough, I would say, do it, be brave, make the leap, and you will never, ever regret it. Because for me, at 61, my life starts here. And for once in my life, I feel I'm the same as everybody else. I'm not less. I'm valid. Who I am, just to exist, is enough. I don't have to be clever or bright or smart or have loads of money or whatever. Just existing is enough. And do you know what a gift that is, Leanne? That is such a gift.
Yeah.
Such a gift. And I feel you didn't let me down. And you know what? You're probably the first person in my entire life that hasn't. This is what Braver Women is all about. And I do feel braver. There's no two ways about it. Braver Women and the Braver Women community are just the best thing that has ever happened to me. And that is from my heart. Absolutely. You're a very talented woman, Leanne, and you are going to help a lot of women. You really are, and have done so already.
I felt that I worked as hard as I could in this process, and the way that you have been, and like, I've just, you've made me do the work. It's not you at all. You haven't had to fix me. I noticed the change within I would say the second week. I mean, I felt really invigorated after the first session.
Yeah.
Really, like, I felt so positive. But after the second session, I noticed even just little tweaks and changes where I shocked myself.
Give us an example.
Yeah, just the way I held myself, the way I presented to other people.
Yeah.
Yeah, that people started to take me a little bit more seriously, because I wasn't just blah, 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 blah. Wow, I feel like a totally different person. Like, I've like I said to you, I'd found my true authentic self, and I actually really like myself. I'm content. That's how I know that I'm my true authentic self. I'm happy. I'm content. I'm able to process things a lot better.
Yeah.
I don't panic. I don't have the anxiety. I don't have the frustration and disappointment that life was.
Yeah.
I'm the master of my own destiny. Like, seriously, the master of my own destiny. I'm, you know, I can do whatever I want to do. And, you know, with the boundaries and that I set and all of the other things that are there, I'm living my best life. Do you know, I find this really hard to talk about right now, because I don't feel any of these things. And to go back is actually quite hard.
Yeah.
Because I don't really remember feeling that bad.
Yeah.
Whereas I know I was at breaking point.
Yeah.
That's you know, that's I think my key was I was at breaking point, and I was just not good enough. I self-sabotaged. I was worthless. I felt useless, helpless. Yeah, all the things a human being shouldn't feel. I would say that for anyone that is genuinely struggling and doesn't know a way out of it, what you do and how you are with people will definitely help. And it's not just help, but, you know, it's life-changing work what you do, Leanne. It's truly life-changing work.
I don't want to blow smoke up your arse, Leanne, but I couldn't have done this without you. I literally couldn't have navigated my way through it without the support that you offered me. I know it was literally invaluable, and I cannot thank you enough. And I know you don't like it when people are like nice to you and say thanks to you, but I really am grateful. I think I just needed the kick up the arse, and I think the thing that I liked about you, we got on really well, which really helps. And I think you were quite like, I remember the first couple of times we spoke, I think you sort of said, not really, if you really want to change your life, you've got to actually be proactive and you've got to do it. And I need that, because I don't mind the tough love, you see. Some people don't like it, and I don't really do fluffy. Yeah. So I quite like that you were like, right, if this is what you want to do, then you've got to pull your finger out and do it, because this is making you miserable and making you ill. You need to do something about it. And I needed that. Whereas some people might need something a bit softer and a bit more, nicey. And I needed you just to go, right, sort yourself out. Come on. If this is what you want, you've got to do it. Yeah. And it really got me going, really got me moving. And when I talked about to you what I wanted and what I, and that I knew what I was, and I knew what to, I knew I had to do something about it. You said, right, well, let's make a plan then. And I thought, oh God, really? We're actually making a plan,
We're talking about it, and we're actually going to do it as well.
Yeah. It was like that. At first, I genuinely thought it would just be me offloading and nothing would change. Yeah. And I think literally within a week of us having our first conversation, I'd already come out to one of my friends.
It was after the first session I noticed the change, because that was, I noticed improvement in certain areas. So after that first session, we went a week before we met again, and there was a specific moment that I had at work, and I was in a meeting, and it was a very challenging client, and I knew it was going to be challenging, but I chose to really take to heart what you said about, I didn't want my emotions, my feelings to control me. So I didn't try to anticipate anything. I tried to just go into it with, a fresh perspective, without carrying any of those fears in with me, and just deciding I'm going to let this unfold, and what happens, I will, we'll just deal with. And it turns out that I was able to manage through that conversation with this very difficult client in a way that I was significantly more confident, because I didn't have all this jumbling going on in my head of anticipatory stuff and anxiety and wondering what they're thinking, and all those distractions. I were a lot more quiet, and I was able to manage through it and have a very successful meeting. It did not go as everybody else anticipated, and and what they told me and what to expect. I was able to report that not only did it go well, but it was very successful, and we were neutral in alignment. And I remember telling you in that second session that that was unlike anything I had ever experienced. But my perspective, shifted. My beliefs were changed. And that was just even after one session. I connected with you at the very best time, because it was throughout, from the very beginning through the messy middle. And when we finished our sessions, it was that week he had moved out. So it was just very aligned with when I needed to do the most. And you had helped carrying me through and stepped me through week after week, and in ways that it was so beneficial, because you're right. I mean, I never really felt grief in this way before. Some of these emotions were new to me. And also I without your help, I think one of the worst things that could have happened was that I kept being stuck in this pattern initially, before your help, of putting myself in his shoes emotionally. You love someone so much, and you're so closely tied with someone, and you're used to taking on how they feel. And in this time, I am the one that's separating myself from him. I'm making this conscious choice to end our marriage. The methodology that you use and the discipline and the approach that you take, it's just so effective, and it is not scary. It doesn't require anything that people are not capable of doing. It just requires, it requires, people have to be determined for change. People have to want to work with you. They want, obviously I would hope that if they are, that's, they're at that place, and clearly they should be. But if they're worried about your approach, I would say that you tailor it very specifically to the people that you work with. You did for me. I would say that you honor where people are at. That's what you did with me. We took a step back once you identified how timid and nervous and scared and anxious I was. You recognize that that doesn't pass you by, and you handle that with grace. So it's not that you are, you are very effective. I want to own this newfound confidence that I have to move forward and allow myself to do things that prior to I just was like, oh, I can't do that because XYZ. No, I have a lot of great ideas. There's a lot of things that I want to undertake that I haven't felt confident to do before or comfortable to do before, and I have a list. So there's many things. It's all it runs the gamut from travels and trips to business ideas and just entrepreneurial ventures. So it's
Amazing.
Yeah, I it's a lot. I need to pull it back a bit because it just seems like just there's so many options that I didn't have before.
First of all, I would say, if anyone wants to get involved or work with you, they definitely should. I highly recommend it. Obviously, I'm here. Like I said, also, I put a post in the group and said, working with you was like, for me, was like working with like an older sister. You're younger than me, but anyways, it doesn't matter when you're making something up that I never had, like someone who could, point things out, and you're very generous and warm. So it's not an intimidating process at all. And in addition, the materials you have in the group are really my view, they're outstanding. You could be paying, a lot of money for those materials in the book, and they're all there in a Facebook group because, my read is that you care about this and you're committed to it as an issue, as a personal issue, and it's a passion project for you. So I think, the community is lucky to have this. And so if it resonates with people, I would say get involved. They'll wait. Yeah.
Yeah, using the methods that you've taught me, with the patterns, and and be brave, be courageous to be able to ask for help, and to look at the stories that you can see on your website that, there is 100% movement in someone's life. You look at my life, I was so stuck. Now I'm pushing forward and really enjoying life. For anybody out there, ask for help, push through. Don't feel like you're stuck and you're on your own, because I felt like I was on my own for years. I was the only one that had the issues that I had, being so shy and lonely and that. And now I'm not any of that at all. I still suffer with the shyness, but it doesn't control me in the way that it did. So take the brave steps and reach out and love yourself enough to do it. Knowing that there was always this person inside here bringing her out, and putting her in the driving seat and really just smiling more and enjoying life, and not having all of that chaos going on, and just feeling free.
Before we worked together, friends would give me advice to choose to think differently, to choose to feel differently. We just don't think that, just don't feel that. I couldn't believe that was possible because I didn't know how. I think if someone was going into work with you and they adopted the mindset that it is possible, and just know that if they trust you and follow your advice, that change is definitely possible. But ultimately, I couldn't have done this without you.
All that, you have a way of pulling that out and really, but it's easy. It's not, I was so determined, Leanne, to be that same person, to leave my path where it should be left. I was in bits. I know. I remember I was sobbing and I was just done. And I thought, how am I going to pull myself back from this? What am I going to do? Yeah. I'll tell you what, it was like you was here. You held my hand. You was on that phone to me for 45 minutes. You pulled me back from the brink. Your support, your kindness. And what really mattered to me through all of this, all of the sessions and all of the therapy, the most important thing was your undevoted and unending belief in me. And no one, I've got tears in my eyes, has ever believed in me like you. Never. You are an inspiration to every single woman. You are incredible. It's not just a job, is it, Leanne? You are a truly remarkable therapist. You are. You do totally change lives, though. It's miraculous. And I would urge anybody who is struggling to give it a go. Send that message. Do it. And the beauty of it is it's tailored to your requirements, your needs. It's not a one fit all. And that's really what everybody needs is something for them individual. And that's what you do. That's what you deliver is a very individualized program. You have a very unique way of pulling things out and you cannot ever get anything past you. You just know. I thought, wow, is this real? That was just amazing. I was totally blown away. And then as the weeks went by, I picked up different strategies and the inner turmoil just, it's been the best decision I have ever made.
My partner, she had some sessions with yourself and I saw some instant changes that were amazing to see. And I thought, oh, what a load of bollocks. That can't be right. It'll just change overnight. But it did. And I thought, okay. But I wasn't brave enough to put myself forward. Whether subconsciously I was thinking, do I actually want to change? Do I know who I am? Do I want to know who I am? Who is the real me? So it got to the point where I was, let's be honest, we all relationships have shit. So it was me making a mistake, acknowledging it and being responsible for it. And I thought, I can't keep doing this.
Yeah.
What is it what am I doing wrong? Why am I doing it? And I wanted to know the reasons behind it.
Yeah.
That's then when I need to change. I need to do something. You could see the behavior and the changes. I won't go into her experience, but I could see how the impact that it had had with your work with her. And I'm like, wow, that something had been like that for so long. And wow. So yeah, I was thinking, wow, in some parts, and the other parts thinking, yeah, okay.
What about you, Jules? Let's talk about you. What was it that you noticed started to change?
My anger levels and my stress just started to decrease. And the anxiety that I was feeling, the emotions that I was feeling, I was learning to control them instead of the instant reactions. It made such a difference. Once you've got these tools, I noticed straight away my reactions, my stress, and being accountable for things now. 110% supported. If there was anything that I wasn't sure of or anything, you were there. That was really good to know that even just a little thing that there was a doubt or I was challenging the belief, was I doing it right? So where I would then question myself, am I doing this? You would say, and that would put me back straight onto the path. Like, no, I am.
Yeah.
Good. It was brilliant. I can't say thank you enough. But now, as time's gone on, I am so much happier that I've not got that negativity around me.
How is the Braver Women program different to any other therapy or coaching you had in the past?
I've had this CBT bollocks before and I might as well just sat there and just thrown £1,000 and go, yeah, okay, then thanks for that. You've just brought everything up and now I don't know how to deal with it. It was, you're going over stuff, but you're not dealing with the root cause of it. I'm then just had this session and I brought up these issues and then I carried on. So what did I learn from it? Well, I didn't learn really anything from it. But from the CBT point, yes, there may be some good counsellors out there, but for me, that didn't help. It didn't help at all. Not until now.
Yeah. So what was it about the Braver Women program that helped you?
completely different because firstly we had the accountability and we've gone over lots of things, stuff that I didn't even realize that was still there, like the PTSD. As far as I was concerned, it was done and dusted. It wasn't. And I wasn't even aware of it. So there's things that go on that you're not aware of. You're not. You think you've dealt with it when you hadn't. You think, oh no, I had a wonderful childhood, or I didn't have any trauma, or I didn't have any of this. And then when you start delving into things, and then where you're getting these feelings and thoughts, and you go, my God, it's come back from all that time ago.
Yeah.
And then focusing on it and dealing with it. That's the difference of what you do. Check in every day. That again, that was the key for me.
Yeah.
Know that I would have lapsed
Yeah.
in the past. I would just go, I'll do it tomorrow. I'll do it the next day. That'll be all right. I can just write something. No, it's that you need the accountability every day, and you can then see your own progress.
Absolutely.
When you're writing it down and sending it, you can go, oh, actually, look what I did like 4 weeks ago. Oh, I don't think that now. I don't feel that now. So you can see it as well. And when you get the feedback from the recordings, it's just,
Yeah.
big change.
I couldn't focus on what my future looked like. So I was still hurting from my past relationship and wanting to understand why it didn't work. But yeah, now completely different. It's like a weight's been lifted off my shoulder because I know how to deal with certain thoughts or things that happen in my head, how to deal with it. As well as, there's a grief there still to this day, but it doesn't overtake me now. It's a fleeting that's come in and then it passes through. And I'll crack on with what I need to do.
Was given the tools of how to consciously correct it. To sort of recognize, okay, this is what I'm putting into my daily thinking or how I'm behaving or showing up on a daily basis. And that's what's keeping me stuck. There was times where you told me a few things that I needed to hear that I probably didn't want to hear. First of all, I didn't realize how negative my own rhetoric was, my own inner voice. So that for me was really interesting because I work in learning and development and I think that I'm very positive and all of that kind of stuff. And the person I neglected most was myself. And I think that's generally what happens, Again, I ended that session just 1,000 times lighter. I think that was the one key moment where I was set free.
Yeah, absolutely.
I almost set free from myself. I burnt the outfit. Oh, it was life-changing actually. Life at that point when I first started seeing you life was just something that was going to happen to me. And it just felt heavy and not within my control. And quickly I realized actually is it within my control and it can be exactly what I want it to be. And also I think you uncovered something that made so much sense. The only regret I've got is that I didn't do this 30 years ago.
Oh, bless you.
But I don't know whether you were born then.
I wouldn't have been very old, Sharon.
Oh dear. And that was connecting with my absolute authentic self and realizing I've been deflecting from who she was due to shame, due to the fact that my visibility came from being a people pleaser or a clown because I could do that quite effectively and proficiently, but that I was in fact really kind of shy and really introverted. When that revelation came, everything made sense.
Yeah,
everything made sense. That was the deep root connector for me. Went into my soul and went, oh, look what we found here.
Well, that's a definite yes. I would recommend Leanne in a heartbeat. My experience with Leanne has been very heartfelt. And every time we met, and even in between, just chatting and that messages, you're really present, and your sincerity in the way that you presented yourself all the time, and could tell that there's a lot of
a lot of love and caring in what you do, and there's compassion and empathy, and all of that is there, and you really you don't skip things. You've worked with things as they came up. You had a main plan, and you managed to do all of that while still taking us off track for a while and then coming back. So it was very flexible, very fluid, dealt with so many different things in such a short period of time, which was really wonderful. Yeah.
It was a fantastic experience. The results I've experienced are really, really good experience, a hard experience, an emotional experience, a journey. But I think your manner and how you conduct things made me feel very comfortable, accepted, and able to just fully immerse myself in the journey, really. So yeah, it was a fantastic experience, and I'm reaping the rewards. I don't have anxiety now. It's something of the past. I would say do it. You won't regret it as long as you're open to put in the hard work and accept how much you want that change, then it's within your power to do so. I think do it. What's the worst that can happen? You can't feel any worse than what you currently do. You will feel better. I started feeling changes during the first session.
You said at the beginning I would see the results fast if I put the work in. I was definitely willing to put the work in. I can't actually believe on the end of session 1 and into session 2 how quick those changes impacted on my life and massively changed my approach to life, changed my language, changed in terms of depression and anxiety that I no longer feel, and indefinitely in terms of my own identity and self-esteem. Changes in terms of how I see myself. I'm kinder to myself. Changes in the way that I don't carry the crap that I've carried for 50 years in my head. And I've been able to let a lot of things go that I didn't think were impacting on me, although they were there, that were massively impacting on me, and I'd not recognised that. Changes in my own confidence, and how I am as a gay woman, how I live my life, what I will or won't tolerate in relationships. Yeah, for me, the sessions have been very, I can't thank you enough. It's life-changing. And the fact that you'd got your own story to tell. So you wasn't speaking from a textbook, you were speaking from experience. And somebody said to me when I'd explained what I'd been doing in terms of my therapy with you, they said, did you pick a LGBT person specifically? And I said, yeah, I did, because some of my issues were linked to my sexuality and how I saw myself. And going to a straight person, they wouldn't be able to know how that feels. Yeah, they can read as many books as they like and have an understanding. But they won't know how that feels inside. They won't know. They won't understand. Your approach definitely worked for me. Like I said, I'm a Midlands on myself, so I don't need flowers and fluff. I just need straight talking. I'm a very straight talker myself. So you were very kind, very empathetic, but you wouldn't take no bullshit. You wouldn't let me hide from things when I wanted to hide, whilst being sensitive to things that I really, really struggled with. You pushed me and continued to push me, even when I sort of tried to hold off. I think what shocked me at times where you were very able, I don't know if I've got such a readable face, I can't ever play poker, but you used to read my face and know what I was thinking, and also know if I was hiding something or holding on to something, you could read that in me. And again, that approach for me definitely worked. The no nonsense approach definitely works. It's changed my life. I can honestly say that those I've sessions where I've had them for 6 months when I've been going into different types of counselling before, and it's not been as life changing as this has. Massively, it has changed my life, changed the way that I am. Even sitting in front of you today, I'm not the same person that I sat in front of you on week 1. I would say have the courage, because I know how life-changing it's been for me. I know that it's scary to ask for help and talk to somebody about the things that are bothering you. And also, there's been things that we've worked through for me that I've been embarrassed about how I felt about certain things. But don't, like I've said, life-changing, and your approach has been very sensitive and empathic. And so that has massively helped. So
take that step, be brave. And within the groups that we have, then use those people around you for support, because that's what we're all here for. We've all been through very similar journeys, and we're all here to support each other. And the group for me has been really kind, and very caring, and completely non-judgmental, and like nothing I've ever been in before.
It was almost like a sense of freedom. It was knowing that actually things could change, things could get better, that I could do something about it, that I was in charge of my life, not anybody else, or not these negative thoughts. And yeah, it was really a sense of freedom, relief, to know I didn't need to be stuck, that there was help and support out there, and I could move on. So if you're going to sort of do it, you need to go into it wholeheartedly. You need to be fully engaged and sort of willing to go along with it. But the benefits of it are just so overwhelming, so totally worth it. It's kind of like a tiny bit of pain for a time of sort of relief and freedom, really. But yeah, as I say, I've tried CBT and I've tried counselling, and yes, odd sort of nuggets come out of that that I found positive, and some things did help a little bit, but ultimately there wasn't really any long-term positive impact, and it just seemed to be going on forever with no end in sight. Whereas coming to you right up front, you were like, well, I think we can probably do this in many sessions. You're not the sort of person to make things drag on. So yeah, again, it was refreshing. It was positive, and it was practical, and it was straightforward. No beating around the bush. Just, this is how to do it. Let's do it.
No, Leanne, I'm not kissing up, but you are an inspiration. And I'm not just saying, like, because what I really enjoy is the fact that you have the skill set, you listen well, but you're keeping me on track, right? You know, I could go all over the place, and keeping me on track as far as, okay, this is what needs to be done. I needed that. And you do it so well and gently, but, not pussyfooting around either. We're here to do this, to do work, to get this shit done, you messed around enough. Let's get the work done. Not so harshly. This is just me paraphrasing. And the fact that you give so much of yourself freely, and the insight that you present to us, I thank you. I really, truly could not have done it. It really was God and universe that brought me to you and your group. And that fact that we resonated and connected, as far as personality. And I really could not have done it without your guidance and your coaching and your skill set and the person that you are and the videos that you put up. I know videos, I'm aging myself. I thank you, because I couldn't have done it without you.
I started noticing changes after the first session, actually. Just feeling of relief and let going of some things, and starting to actually think about my own self and how I see myself as well. The biggest change I've found is just general confidence. I feel so much more brighter, happier in myself. I feel more confident. I feel like it's a weight that's been lifted. I'm able to be more productive in my life. I don't have the self-doubt that I had. I feel more worthy in myself. And just generally, it's like a massive change that I wish I'd had many years ago, really. I would say go for it. Leanne, you've helped me move forward in a nice positive way, and it's all done at a nice pace, but it's quite quick. So as well, you're not having to go into months and months and months and months of therapy like other therapies you might have to do. So it's a much quicker, rapid way of changing things for the better for you. The support's enabled me to do that. You've always been there at hand if ever I needed anything or had any questions as well. And yes, I've been able to actually feel like I can take charge with your support, which has been invaluable.
It was brilliant. It was really professional, but relaxed, supportive. We had fun as well. Although things were really difficult to talk about, I felt really comfortable and safe. Yeah, I didn't feel afraid of crying if I needed to, or if I couldn't articulate myself. Yeah, you're just really, really lovely to work with, and the content to deal with outside of the sessions as well have just been amazing. They've been life changing for me, yeah, it's just fantastic. Well, I'm a different person completely. I've got so much confidence. I believe in myself more. I don't feel that I'm weak. I'm challenging myself. I'm progressing with things that I've wanted to do for years. Friends and family are seeing a difference in me, which is huge. And yeah, I feel really positive. And constantly wanting to do more all the time, because I felt so comfortable. It's under someone understanding, how you feel, having lived the same sort of experiences in certain respects, understanding what it's like to not quite feel the same as everybody else in family and in society. So yeah, I think that instantly takes away any concern, or if you have a counsellor who isn't gay, then you're instantly feeling different to them. How can you talk about being different? They're not going to understand, are they? So yeah, it's a big thing, really important. Absolutely 150% worth it. If I had to go back in time, I'd do it all over again, without a doubt. I will shout this from the rooftops. I've told everybody, I've got no qualms about saying what I've done now. I've encouraged other friends and people I know who could benefit from it to join the group. And yeah, it's brilliant. And I can't really put words to it of how much it's changed my life, but I would encourage anybody to contact you, reach out. Yeah.
I ended up listening to Robin Douglas's podcast episode that you very awesomely interviewed on, and just sort of thinking, you gave one tiny example of just how to pick apart an unhelpful thought, realize that it's not true, and then I think what you said about thoughts and behaviors rather than sort of negative and positive, you're just like, right, well, it is what it is, but is it helpful or is it unhelpful? And I'm just like, oh, okay. I'm just like, this woman is good. It's like, I want to meet this person. And then I sort of ended up in a Facebook group when you popped up and commented on a few things. I'm just like, oh, it's not like this like completely, I don't know, unreachable like person. I could actually talk to her and meet this person, and like maybe I could even work with them. It seemed like the thing that would really just properly put all the other pieces into place. And I mean, quite frankly, I really, really needed a firm and loving kick up the arse that actually takes some fucking action and do the things that I knew I needed to do. I have some actual boundaries now. Yeah, I don't allow people to walk all over me anymore. I say what's true for me, and I don't always just go along with what everybody else says. And, it doesn't mean I'm just like picking arguments left, right, and center, but just going, well, actually, that's not how I see it, or I think we could do things a different way. This is the hardest and most uncomfortable thing I've ever done, but it has made way for me feeling like the best that I have ever felt in a really, really long time. Realizing that if I wanted different results in my life, I was going to have to do things differently. It's direct and proactive. And here's a plan for how we're going to do it, and exercises we're going to do. And here's your homework. This is what we're going to practice. And yeah, just, I don't know, having you really fiercely in my corner telling me that you knew I could do it.
Realizing that I can be a strong and independent person, and I'm not responsible for what other people say or think, that's not my responsibility. It's not enough just to decide in your head that you're going to feel a certain way or act a certain way. But some of the things that were brought together in our sessions, it literally changed the way I would react. I think the main things friends have noticed would just be that my whole demeanor is more relaxed and confident. I just approach situations differently. I'm just much less worried about things. Each day when I wake up now, it's like I'm living true life now, and I wasn't before. it was amazing to me how quickly I could see change. I've been through plenty of other therapy. I've been through regular individual talk therapy, couples therapy, sex therapy, tried just about everything. And the differences that I found working with you with the neurological type of reeducation and all of the techniques that you have that was able to make a big change. And just the way that you were able to adapt to my needs and not just go with some specific recipe that you had. I know that there were times when you had to kind of adapt and change on the fly for what I needed. Just powerful. And the very changes that I was able to see in myself were very impressive. Yeah, and it wasn't easy. Like there was I had to really pay attention and think about things. And it's not just like you get in it and it's super easy and you do all the work. No, it's definitely not easy. I had to put the effort into it, but I was able to see some very quick changes in just the way I was tolerating things coming at me, my responses to negative emotions. I just noticed a change very quickly.
What am I going to see out the second half of my life if I'm going to continue to feel like this? I thought there was something in my gut instinct telling me there's somebody out there, somebody that can help me. And I can't just keep going through counseling and hypnotherapy and mindfulness and all of that because it wasn't quite getting to the roots. So I started a massive journey, which took me to you 2 years ago. And I'd gone through pretty much almost a nervous breakdown. I'd had time off work and I was at really, really a low ebb. And so I reached out to a hypnotherapist and a medium. And I started thinking, what can I do? And I just Googled. I can't even remember what the search was now, but dealing with anxiety and increasing confidence, and up popped the Braver Women Facebook page. God, that's really hard to put into words because I was in a horrible place, and what that looked like was daily anxiety responses, negativity, thoughts going round in my head of not being able to speak out, not being able to challenge anyone, not being able to give my own voice at work, in my personal life, self-doubt of, oh, so-and-so's not texting me back. Do they like me? Does this, all this noise. And to be free of that is absolutely huge. Yeah, and I think I'm actually still taking it in if I'm honest. It's life-changing. I think it's really what I said before. You have the power to change you. For you, for me, that was you as my guide to help me change what I thought, which kept me stuck where I was.
Yeah.
I was what I believed myself to be. You have the power within you. Sometimes you just need somebody to hold your hand. This is the biggest investment I've ever made in myself. So I am proud of myself for doing this. It's been really hard work, but hard work pays off. I mean, I've done CBT, I've done counselling, I've done endless blooming counselling, hypnotherapy, and mediums to give me hope. But this was bespoke. This was your insight into me, and I posted a comment in the group about you knew me better than I knew myself. And that, it's up to have somebody holding my hand, but me doing the work has just, the habit forming. It's been habit forming, and it's been really tailored to exactly what I needed to change and where I was going wrong in my life because of your insight. So, yeah.
I didn't feel like I had control of the situation. I didn't feel like I could overcome all the anxiety, the stress that would come with making these huge life changes and having people change their perception of me. And it took some time, but with each session and the tools that you gave me, and you are very good at making sure that, the daily check-ins, was constantly having to be mindful
of how I interacted and if I was using the tools properly. And I have to be honest, for the first week or two, I'm like, oh, I gotta do this daily feedback again. Like, and then all of a sudden, like, it's coming so natural to me. And then I actually don't have to think that hard about it anymore because I'm already thinking that way. And then at the end of it, it's like, wow, like this is completely different from the start, and I can carry myself so differently now. It's amazing. Like, I didn't feel the changes, and then all of a sudden I felt it all at once, I feel like, and it felt really good. Yes. And I did want to emphasize, even more so that it really has spilled over into other parts of my life. 'Cause at the end of the day, this was my core. This is who I was as a person, wanting to people please. So not only did that cause issues with me being afraid to come out, it was also causing issues at work, not being able to speak up for myself and with friends and with family. And so when I'm able to make the changes in this context, it really just kind of just flows over everywhere. And the positive changes have just become really obvious now. It's important to me to emphasize just how real of a place I'm coming from, and I have made incredible progress, and I'm very happy. It's still scary. There's still a lot of things I need to do, and the difference is now is that I know that I can do it. I can find comfort, even if it's going to get worse before it gets better, I know it's going to get better. So I know I can handle anything that comes my way, because there's still a lot of bumps along the road. Well, I find your approach, it is direct, and you're open about exactly what your expectations are, which is amazing. So there's no question about what you want from me. You are gentle but tough at the same time, and yeah, you're not going to just let me get away with anything. So you keep me working hard, which I need. I need that push. Anyone who's coming to you in this situation is looking for that push. They're not coming to you to not get pushed.
Yeah.
And I could tell before I worked with you that this was going to be what got me from where I was to where I wanted to be. So, my advice is to be ready to change and just be ready to put the work in. And Leanne will get you there. Absolutely.
Probably the first week and a half, I was really scared to express myself, feeling very self-conscious. But once I decided to, embrace it and do it regardless, I think that the changes just kind of happened, kind of flowed. All the old messages about not being good enough and are just not true and don't apply anymore. Don't apply to my life. I was ready. Even though I was scared, even though I had a little bit of trepidation and doubt in myself, I was ready. And I think you have to be ready. Yeah, I think I said in one of my updates that, and this was actually towards the beginning that I was like shocked because I had no anxiety. I was like, what? It was shocking. I didn't know what to do with myself. If I can do it, you can do it. Trust the process, because it is a process. Just do it and try it.
I have been treated for depression from back when I was 30. That's when I said, no, there's got to be a way to feel better about all of this. I didn't know how to define myself. And that's something, again, that you helped me do, is that I don't have to own that depression, anxiety. I have other skills that I can use to weather that. And it's been amazing. It's really been amazing. And I thank you for that. I'm a human rock star. I'm a rock star in the world of life at 67 years old. And after 30 plus years of in and out of different therapies, you have made a difference. You have definitely made a difference for me. And it's been eye-opening that I didn't need anyone to come and, rip my prior existence apart. You didn't come and say, okay, we're going to knock your house down and then we're going to rebuild it. It didn't require that kind of drama. It was a tweak here, a knowledgeable tweak, because you know what you're doing. And it was a tweak here and a tweak there that helped me see what I could do and what I could achieve. And different than any other therapy I've ever been in. I think from a specific standpoint, when you said early on that you're going to give it 120%, as well as I'm agreeing to go 120%, and then you did it. So again, it wasn't vacant words that you were doing. The amount of time and attention that you gave to me, it was always very personalized. It was always very helpful, and it was always very insightful and learned. And it astonished me how you could not only in our one-on-ones when you were listening to me, but then our follow-ups, you delivered on your promises. Choose your hard. And so for a lot of us, we're looking at, oh, that, that kind of work is going to be so hard. Having to open up, myself to someone is going to be hard. Having to be accountable to someone is going to be hard. But how hard is it, the life that I'm living? So when I'm choosing between live the life I'm living is very hard, or am I willing to choose the hard that says I may be able to get somewhere else? Despite my fears and trepidations, you were able to help me walk through all of that. And that I've been amazed at the changes that I have made. And I have plenty of room to keep growing. Thanks to you.
If you want someone who's going to call you on your shit, Leanne is definitely it. But no, in all the best ways. Like, the thing is that, like, you are an extremely personable person. Like, you're really down to earth. You're not uptight as what some people may have experienced in therapy, where there's like no emotion. Like, you're a real person who's been through a lot, and you are like, you weave that into Braver Women and like your sessions and the work that you do with women very eloquently, and it's very effective. I am here 8 weeks later being like, holy fuck, like what I've done in this amount of time versus what, like, I had a hard time, like you said in 2 weeks, you're going to feel different. Like, I was skeptical, right? And like, it's not a magic pill. Like, this is not a magic pill program. It's just that, like, you have fine-tuned this program because you're so like fucking amazing at what you do, and like realizing that what works, that like it works. Like, it's just these techniques and these methods that you use to help people, to help women, is truly, it's amazing. It's remarkable. Like, it's not sorcery, but like, I don't know, fucking close to it.
And it was working with you that made me realize that I'm just attracting people. I'm being attracted to people who remind me of my childhood, because it's normal. It was normal feeling for me to feel like that. Yes, it was anxiety driven, but that's what I was used to. Was working with you, learning self-belief, believing that you are enough, and knowing I am enough. And it's a matter of just working through every single aspect of what you're teaching every week and guiding. It is just invaluable. And sometimes wounds can't be completely healed, but you find a way to cope with them better and heal them in a different way. And you've helped me to do that. And you were giving me stuff back. I needed someone to challenge me. Why did you do that? Whatever, And it's like, if you don't challenge me, I'm just going to carry on doing the same thing. And that's what I was doing. I would seriously say, if you you're in a similar position to myself or anything like that, do your course. There's only so many self-help TikToks you can watch and Instagram things before you realise, but you're not getting the whole way. And you pushed me to the finish line of where I needed to be. Yeah. Because I'm going to a job interview tomorrow, and I would never, ever, ever put myself forward for it before doing this.
I think when I was 40, when I had my breakdown, and I started, first of all, with a bit of counselling. I did cognitive behavioural therapy. I did a big, long course of hypnotherapy. I basically tried I tried life coaching, every form of counselling or therapy that I could, up till I started working with you. Nothing worked at all. And it was very frustrating. I joined Braver Women in May of this year. Yeah, even before we started actually working together, it was a really positive experience being in the Braver Women community. My last therapy was a bit of a disaster. I didn't get on with the therapist at all. And I'd really decided at that point that I wasn't going to do any more therapy. And that was a couple of years ago before this. So I was 60 when I found Braver Women. And I really thought to myself, this is my last go. If I'm going to do some therapy here, this is my last go. And if it doesn't help me at all, then I'm just going to accept the way I am and the way my life is. I feel like I felt understood straight away. I mean, first of all, I think the fact that everybody in the Braver Woman community is gay or LGBT, it just helped enormously. I'd actually never worked with a gay therapist before, straight away I felt comfortable. That was the first thing.
Yeah.
And then the things that you were talking about, and the things that we discussed about my life, it was just a whole different approach, a deeper approach. And I like the fact that you were incredibly intensely invested. And the other thing was, where we started, I kind of had this, although I was going for it, I had this feeling in the back of my mind, well, I'm going to be a hopeless case, and she's going to say, well, you know, you're the one in 100 that it won't work for or something. And but it was just to have you believe in me so much was amazing. Your attitude from the beginning was, oh yeah, we can sort this. This is no problem. We'll help you through this. That was just really refreshing. I started realizing that maybe everything I believed about myself wasn't quite all there was to it. And that you know, I thought if somebody else believes in me, maybe I can believe in me just a little bit. And you were determined to sort of leave no stone unturned.
Mm-hmm.
There were no little secrets that were left that I could hide away and not deal with. We dealt with everything. It's sort of like when there's been a storm and then this beautiful rainbow comes down. That's what it started to become like at the end. Yeah, it's been completely life changing. I'm not a different person. I'm still Rain, but I'm just a much happier person. I would say to anybody who wanted to change their life to start working with you and see for themselves.
I felt that it gave me the knowledge and the tools that I needed to start to figure stuff out for myself. And I was surprised at how quickly I started feeling different. Very, very surprised. Yeah, I mean, I'd had CBT and I'd had some psychotherapy and lots of counselling. The difference with this, for a start, there was a requirement for me to commit to engaging in it, in the process, and doing quite a lot of work outside of sessions, not on my own. And the level of input from you is very, very different from anything that I'd experienced before. It was a very, very different process to anything that I'd done before, and I could feel how it was changing. The work that we were doing was changing the way I was feeling about things. It wasn't changing the situations that I was in, but it was changing how I was dealing with them 100%. In our first couple of sessions, I remember saying to you that I felt I was in a lot of pain, not physical pain, and that I felt like I had a wound that would not heal. And that very quickly started changing. I also started to feel very, very differently about myself. That's been a massive, massive thing for me. Having never had good self-esteem or thinking that I was worth anything, that was a massive shift for me. It was quite a revelation. Yeah, I definitely had a very, very strong inner critic before I started working with you, and it had always been there, and I don't miss it now at all. There's a very, very different voice in my ear, which is making life feel very, very different.
I had never had therapy or hypnotherapy or anything like that. That was incredible to experience that. And how that just helped. Because when I came to you, I wasn't even sure what emotions I was feeling. I was on autopilot. I couldn't describe to you what I was feeling. I didn't know where my body, I didn't pay attention to any of that until I came to you. I'm not afraid to cry. Before I was afraid to cry, I would hold that in as much as I could. I'm not afraid to acknowledge or have conversations that are hard. Before I would avoid, and I would shut down and avoid. And so I'm not doing that. I carry on conversations and have hard conversations with people. Yeah, I'm not hiding. And I'm not withdrawn into myself like I did before. It's been pretty incredible. There's one thing I would like people to know too, is just that when you're more confident, you can connect with people. It's so much better. You know, I make eye contact, I smile, I have conversations. And when I'm not confident, when I wasn't confident, I really did just withdraw and did not make connections with people like I do now. It's incredible. Yeah. It just even looking back to the religion that I was raised in, women pretty much are kept at a certain level. And just breaking free from that mindset alone has been amazing. Yeah, women deserve to have our voices heard. We deserve to live who we are. It's night and day. Just this freedom that I do feel, and just this knowledge that I can be myself and just being right with myself. For the first time in my life, I feel that I am who I've always been and I'm not hiding. And that's just I can't tell you the relief that brings to me, and just the happiness and joy that brings, that I'm myself for the first time. I just can't tell you that. I would say that it has been the most incredible experience of my life. It has been the most life-changing experience of my life, because you gave me the tools. You gave me the tools to make the changes in my thinking, which changed my actions, my life. I would say don't hesitate. Honestly, it's incredible how fast those changes happen with you. Yes, just do it. Yeah, and Brave the Women community. What a great idea. What a great community. Around the world, that we can come together and share our experiences and be braver together. It's wonderful.
It's better than regular therapy. It's more intense, but it's also more powerful, and the change effected is more significant. We talked about the program, but you've tailored your approach to meet my needs as a client. And sorry, I didn't mention this before, but that's actually been quite huge, hasn't it? Because it isn't the way that you expected to work necessarily when you started out with me. You had to allow me a lot of leeway when it came to the stories that I needed to get out. They've got out now, and you've helped me put them in the class, which was really important to do, so that I can actually be where I am now and look forward and use those experiences as wisdom, if you like, to guide me better. But that is because, well, not only did you give me the skill to manage my day-to-day life, but you allowed me that flexibility, which I really appreciate.
I probably wouldn't have spent so much time in a psychiatric hospital if I had dealt with it at the time. I wouldn't have probably dropped out of uni so many times. I would have been able to focus, got my career sorted when I was much younger. Yeah. But it was a horrible thing, trauma, don't get me wrong. But you know what? I'm here now, and this is the person that I am, and people just need to accept that this is me, basically. So yeah, like you said, I had multiple therapists, some better than others. I really found it difficult to engage with people. Maybe it wasn't the right time for me. I'm not, I don't want to say that everyone was terrible, but maybe I wasn't in the right place. But I just felt it's very passive process a lot of the time. I just sit there, offload, and be done, and that was it. Nothing ever helped me to solve the problem, kind of thing. It wasn't engaging. It was very passive. But like working with you, Leanne, is very active. We have a lot of kicking up the bum. So I had some friends that worked with you, and I saw the positive impact you'd had in their life. And my friends, vice versa, could see how much I was struggling and muddling through life. And with some encouragement and dragging my feet in the heels in the ground and saying, I'm not doing it, I don't want to do it. And that's what drew me to you. But it felt right for me at the time. Like, trust me, these friends did go on at me for a little while, and I was like, no, I don't want to. I'm happy just going to offload to my normal therapist. I'm not going to lie, I found the process really difficult, and you probably found it really difficult with me because I was still digging my heels in at times, and I was struggling. I had a lot going on. Like I said, I was in the final year of my degree. I'd split up with my long-term partner. So had massive life events going on. I bought a place. Like every big life event you could imagine happened all to me in the space of a year. So, and then I took on working with Leanne as well. So, but you helped me so much, Leanne, honestly. I can't tell you, like, you were there for me when I was really struggling and I wanted to like throw the towel, and you wouldn't give up on me, and you're really like determined to get the best out of everyone and help them. So yeah, no, that was really nice. For me, it was the work we did around trauma. I felt the weight lifting, and I felt a bit more like free and be myself and express myself and achieve what I want to achieve without, like, it made me more resilient. That's probably the right word to use, because
even though I had all these difficult, massive life events going on around me, I still managed to stay. Whereas in the past, I would have just ran off, left the situation, left my job, do whatever, just get out of there. Whereas it's taught me that I can handle these things, and with the right support and thinking from myself, like the way I perceive situations, that I can do it. It was very empowering, I think. Like I felt like I have a lot more control over my thoughts and my feelings, because I'm not like, I'm in control more of me, and I try not to blame it on other things so much. You know, I've done this, I've said that, that's a result of this. So I'm going to like remember what we spoke about and how, you know, what you taught me. And I hear you in my head sometimes, like when I say something, Leanne will have a go at me for saying that. Honestly, you're like the little voice in my head.
But it works though, doesn't it? Because if you think
It does massively. Go and do it. Just do it. You know, you've only got one life, so you want to enjoy it. What's the point of living here miserably when you can go out? There's so much more to enjoy and do and see and that you can achieve. Just don't think about it. Just do it, is what I would say. Yeah. I wish I'd done it sooner. I felt like you actually cared and weren't just here to take my money, for one. And like I said earlier, it's hard work, but it's worth every moment of hard work. You know, they say like nothing worth having is, whatever the saying is, about trying or something, but it is worth the hard work. And just like trust Leanne as well. Like if you haven't got trust in Leanne, it will be really difficult to achieve. Yeah, Leanne will be there to guide you the whole way, and just trust the process and work with the process. Don't fight it.
I do feel like I can just be myself now, you know, just be more authentic. And it's really freeing. It's brilliant. Yeah. But I just think like we only have one life. Let's really don't muck it up for yourself. You know, don't let those fears, those, you know, bloody idiots saying you shouldn't be like this and should be like that. Let them get on with their own stuff and just do your thing. And everyone will be jealous. Everyone will be like, how do you do it? You're so yourself. So I just think it's really worth it. And just, don't waste time. Don't waste time.
And I thought, that's it. That's what I'm stuck with. And I thought, that's it. I'm just going to have to wait my life out now until I die. You know, I've just got to wait to die, basically, because there's nothing else. And I got really, really upset about it. I remember my partner saying to me, no, that's actually not okay. You need to take some time, love, and go and look at what else is out there. And I'd been looking at your site for a while and listened to you and just thought, not like, oh, what harm could it do? But just like, why was I drawn to you? There was something else there that I was like, this isn't taking a risk. This is taking a chance. And it obviously, I was scared. But then I honestly said to myself, you know, love, you're scared of everything. So what? Go with it being scared. Because maybe when you talk to Leanne, being scared is something you can work on. And, you know, some of the things the techniques we've used made such an impact. Having something that but my foundations of who I am and having a lot of space inside myself to consider that has made the world of difference. You know, everyone has noticed it. I'd say inside me, like, so my normal patterns before was to sort of wake up scared, wake up in the night scared, go through the day and just have anxious thoughts or like catastrophic thoughts and things. Once I started working with you and I had a focus, because it's one of the best things you're likely to do for yourself. I recommend you to people and I say it will change your life. You will change your life because the environment that you're offered is phenomenal. It's not like anything else. You won't be alone. You'll do this every single day. Any minute of any day, you can be there and still do it all and feel it and practice it and see the changes and really enjoy the changes. And so it's a bit challenging, but that's a good thing. And that those challenges make you feel braver. So that's why I think women should do it.
Because you only have one life. And it may be a very hard journey to get to that other side, but you need to keep going, because I could have given up. If I'd have taken the easy option, I wouldn't be here now. But I chose to fight it and I chose to do something about it, because I knew deep down when I was being logical, when I was being rational, I knew deep down I didn't want to go, not really. But it's been an incredible journey. And I would always be forever grateful for the work that we have done together. But yeah, you do have to put in that hard work to get those results. And I had to trust you, because if I hadn't have put my trust into you, and that's something I found extremely hard to do, was to put trust into people. If I hadn't have done that, then I wouldn't have had the results I have now. The support you gave me and the fact that there was no mucking around with you. I knew what you said was very truthful. Even though I am someone who found it hard to put trust, I was able to do that with you because I felt safe. And I knew that when you agreed to work with me, I knew that as long as I put in the hard work, you wouldn't just abandon me halfway through. I knew that you would continue to keep going and going and going until I got to where I am now. Stop wondering, go ahead and do it. Because there's going to be no regrets. Absolutely no regrets. Well, the only regret is if you don't do anything about it. So there you go. Reach out.
Liking myself, that's one of the biggest things, liking who I am and not going, oh, look at you today, or I don't like, just putting yourself down. After the therapy, I just feel that it was the best thing that I've ever done. The best route to take, best challenge. As I said on my feedback to you, you were when it says on the tin, you're very much that, you're the way that your approach is, you are. If people were struggling, women were struggling, give you a go, listen to your podcast, listen to things that you're saying. You're so insightful, you're so knowledgeable in that sense. And I think the therapy has definitely helped me to gain more self-awareness and insight of how I've evolved and why I've evolved the way that I have.
Yeah.
I can change that, and I can learn a different way of being. That's so important. That's the thing. It's like nothing's stuck forever. You don't have to be in that pattern. You can come out of it and go on a different path. And then with your support, and like you say, they're there every day, that's so important. It moved me to tears in that. How sensitive I am. No, it's just your support is like something that I always will keep in my heart. It's huge. You make me cry now. No, not. So yeah, it's huge because it's a memorable journey for me working with you, and I couldn't have done what I've done without you. And like you said, you're what you are on the tin. You say you're going to support someone, bloody hell, you really do. So I can't thank you enough for giving me. I would have, if you ever said a year ago, Susie, you're gonna talk on a podcast, all right, yeah, right, that's never gonna happen. No one's gonna see me. I'm gonna hide, but I don't need to hide. I just need to tell my story and hopefully inspire other women that have felt so stuck through no fault of their own to push through. So thank you from the bottom.
I didn't think this was going to work. I didn't know what was ahead of me, and it is hard work. You have to put your heart and soul into it every day, not just once a week like you would do normally. And if you don't do that, you're not going to get anything from it. And that took me a few weeks to realise that you need to stick at it. Because there was times where I've really wanted to run away. And that's I know that's, again, from my past, that's the anxiety, talking. But I'd stuck with it. And I was like, this, if I don't stick with this now, there's nothing that's going to work for me, and I needed to. And it's just putting your heart and soul into it and not being afraid. You give back to you what you give out is, it works. I'd say take the leap of faith. If you're watching, especially if you're watching the podcasts and the stories and everything, take that leap of faith and you won't be let down. It was the biggest and best thing I've ever done in my life, and I'll never regret it. Some therapy is not right for everybody. You have to find that right therapist for you, and I definitely found the right therapist for me this time. Yeah, it's that, again, that connection. The therapist, I think, as well, so you can work through it properly. It's just freedom. I feel free. Which, because that cage that was around me is gone. I've broken free. The pattern corrections, I've never had that ever before, and to do that every day has worked its magic. It's changed my thinking. It's changed the way I am as a person.
I knew it was going to be full on, but I am the sort of person who immerses myself fully in something if I know it's a good thing, you know. And this was a piece of work, and it was a vital piece of work for me. I mean, I really was at a very low point when we started.
I know.
If I'm honest, I didn't know whether the pattern corrections or the techniques that you gave me would work. But because I trusted you, I tried and I put them into action every day. And I think even after a week or so, I started to feel better. I don't know whether that was the routine of it or whether things really were rewiring that quickly in my brain. I don't know, because it gets the desired results, definitely. But also you are acutely perceptive, and if there were occasions where I was feeling a reluctance to share something, or I felt that something I was sharing was not right somehow, or not going to be understood by you necessarily, you always had the perception to see through that somehow. 2 steps ahead. But that's the responsibility bit and the reason why I trusted you. Because I could see how responsible you were. And because it's like you say, it's a huge thing. And if people are coming to you at the end of their tether as well, in very vulnerable situations, then it's crucial. And that's why I reached out. And thank goodness I did. Well, thank you. You dug me out of a very big hole. Well, you helped me dig myself out of a very big hole.
It's a shame that they all couldn't benefit from a one-to-one with yourself. But I hope those that really need help do come forward and say, I need help and I need it, and you're able to provide that. And they would not be disappointed.
Don't wait any longer. Invest in your life and acknowledge your worth by doing this type of therapy with Leanne. You know, you mentioned, Leanne, that you've been really amazing in praising me and how hard I've worked, but I don't think that would have happened with another therapist, with another technique. So I really want to acknowledge, I'm feeling quite emotional now. I really just want to acknowledge that how appreciative I am of the time you've given me and the respect. And you really showed an interest in what I was saying. You weren't just, you're not a therapist that ticked boxes and said, okay, that's great, you've said that, and, moved on. You actually asked me more questions about it. Tell me a bit more about that. How does that affect you? And what does that mean? What does that mean to you? And I've never experienced that with a therapist before. But I would say to people, just don't wait any longer. Just reach out and invest in yourself, because it will pay off.
Taking that faith and doing it for you. And I think that's what's really important. If you're thinking about working with Leanne, take that faith and jump into that first session. You won't regret it. And the fact that you get really quick results, it's not easy. You have to have some element of, okay, right, I'm going to do something about my situation to be able to be open to your teachings. As with everything, if you're ready to change, but you're not sure how, then this is the perfect first step. It really is, because of, I presented with something that was so very much on the surface that it needed dealing with. And I think that whilst it's not a quick fix, I had a kind of instant reduction in what was causing me that instant pain. And that's it. That's come from your techniques and your teachings.
So I've always suffered with depression since I was a very little girl, actually. There's always been patterns of low moods, becoming quite withdrawn. And then as I've got older, that's developed into self-harm and suicidal thoughts. I've developed different coping strategies throughout my life and been to see lots of different therapists who I've never clicked with or had much progress with. But then in the past 12 months, things have got worse. I've been feeling a lot lower. My self-harm got quite severe, and something happened one day, and me and my wife just decided that enough was enough and I really needed to try and get help again. I was very reluctant because I've never particularly got on with therapists or found it beneficial. But my wife somehow had come across you on Facebook before. So she said, okay, please will you give this a go? Please will you try it for me? So I said, yeah. On my first session with you, I said, I just want to be happy. And I said, I just want to be happy. And I feel that I'm now in a much happier place.
and I'm much more equipped to deal with things when they don't go the way I want them to.
Yeah.
And to me, that's everything I wanted. So firstly, I'd say if you can, book in with Leanne. She's not paid me to say this. I was very dubious. I was very dubious. Yeah, I really didn't know what to expect. So I wasn't somebody that just goes, oh yeah, I'll go and try that. I really was. This is proof. I know that that's not always possible for everybody. To me, it's not having bombardment of negative thoughts in my head. That really was, for me, the worst thing. I'd find myself in a situation that I didn't like or I wasn't comfortable with. And it could be very, very trivial. It could be that the pile of washing's massive and I just felt overwhelmed by it. And I'd get this bombardment of negative thoughts. So to me, mental freedom is being able to express myself and not constantly be worrying about the guilt of not doing something. Guilt was a huge, huge factor for me. So I now have learned to only feel guilty for the things that I should feel guilty for. It's a lot more relaxing. My physical health has definitely got better because I'm not constantly worrying. I think I've stopped grinding my teeth. That's nice. That's a big thing. My dentist will be delighted. Despite the fact that I felt that I was very good at my job and I didn't feel it was an issue, I can see changes in my job and the way I approach my job also. But it's also, I can see changes in my wife and my child in that they're more relaxed around me.
And the journey that you've been on has been huge. It's been powerful. It's been life-changing.
Yeah, it has. It really has. Yeah.